Just as a warning, there will be spoilers in this video, but really, I'm going to focus on what didn't work for me in this film and then go into a little bit of theories of what this could possibly mean for future films. Now, the quick consensus is I like this movie. I love this movie. I had fun with it. I liked Carnage. I love the focus on Eddie and Venom's relationship. I had fun with the first one. I really liked the first one. Saw this movie twice. When it comes out on 4K, I'm gonna get it now. But you know what? Before I get into what I didn't like, which a lot of you will probably agree with me on, a lot of people don't like this version of Venom. And while I'm a fan of this version of Venom, while I like it, I completely understand if you hate it. I completely get it because growing up, um, reading the comic books, watching the animated Spider-Man, it was always every time you mentioned Venom, he was that ruthless, you know, Eddie Brock was an a-hole, which he kind of is in this one, but it's a bit toned down. Venom was a villain, even though he's really an anti-hero. The Venom that we're used to, most of us hardcore fans are used to, is the Venom that's a villain. You know what I'm saying? A villain who, when Carnage comes into the picture, he teams up with Spider-Man. The enemy of my enemy is your friend, or however the hell that goes. You know what I'm saying? So I completely get it if you don't like this version of Venom. I like this version, but I do think they are building up to something, and they are going to give us the version of Venom that we've always wanted. Basically, like Logan, Wolverine, all the X-Men films, everybody's like, man, yeah, like Hugh Jackman does a great job, but Wolverine seems a bit toned down. He should be slashing and hacking and cussing and, arms and limbs flying everywhere. And then eventually they did give that to us. So I think that's what they're going to do with Venom. Like, yes, I completely agree. Venom is a bit toned down, but I think they're, building to something, and we're ultimately going to get the Venom that we all know and love at some point. I just don't know when. Now, what I didn't like about the film, what didn't work for me about the film, I'm going to start with this. Shriek should not have been in the movie. I like the actor who plays Shriek. She did a great job. I mean, but I think the movie could have done just as well without that character completely. Nothing against the actor. I just think if you would have Carnage, especially in the comics, given Carnage doesn't need a love interest. I get it in the comics. Shriek and him may have had a thing, or they're partners, or whatever the case may be. But their first time introducing Carnage, I don't really want to see him in a love angle. You know what I'm saying? Let him be that crazed, insane serial killer that he is, and let's just go with that. You know what I'm saying? We don't need the added angle of Shriek, my one bright light, that whole thing. I felt like because of that, it kind of took away from moments that we could have gotten of Carnage being Carnage. For example, the Red Wedding. When they're burning the building and then Carnage is speaking to Cletus and Shriek, and he's like, "Okay, we all got to get somebody. Me, Venom, you, the cop, blah blah blah." And then he goes, "It's going to be a red wedding." What should have led up to the church scene was Carnage literally in the streets painting the town red. It's a wedding, right? So get festive. Go throughout the streets, kill innocent people, be Carnage. You know what I'm saying? Like, stab people. Like, literally, I would have loved to have seen a scene with Cletus or Carnage literally just walking down the street, slaughtering innocent people for no reason. Because that's what Carnage is about. He's unpredictable. He just does things. Think about it. He is a serial killer with a symbiote. I just think Carnage was also toned down for this film. I liked Woody Harrelson's version of Cletus. I do think Cletus should have been just a little younger. They should have picked a younger guy, but he did a great job, I think. But I just felt Carnage didn't truly live up to his name. He didn't. It's. I will say this: Carnage's and it goes out. Carnage's introduction was a lot better than Venom's introduction in Spider-Man 3. So there's that. It could have been way worse. What we got, I believe, was good. But the potential. This movie didn't need to be rated R. You didn't have to show blood. Heck, in the first one, Riot, when he swiped all the computers. Remember when he oh Lord, what did he do? The rocket. When he initiated the countdown for the rocket and told them to, make it take off. And he did, and he transformed, and he, swiped everybody in that room. You know what I'm talking about. He killed a lot of people, but no blood, and you can keep that PG-13 rating. You could have had Carnage walking down the street painting the town red, and then you could have had the town have this red oranges glow from the fire, from him, blowing up cars, breaking down buildings on his way to the church. So, on his way to the church to have his red wedding, he has now paved a path of carnage. Carnage follows him, death, chaos. Carnage follows him wherever he goes because he is Carnage. So, also, you take Shriek out of the movie, we would have gotten a straight up one on one with Venom and Carnage. It would have been a end all be all, basically. Which leads me to the next thing that kind of bothered me, but now that I've had time to think about it, it makes sense. I hate the fact that they killed Cletus. Yes, for story purposes, it makes sense. I get it. In the comic books, Cletus slash Carnage dies, but then because of how well they are bonded, they always find a way to come back. I think they're, if I'm not mistaken, in the comics, Cletus and Carnage are bonded so well that they're bonded on a cellular level. Um, which I feel like they could, if they want to bring Carnage back, they could. They could bring up one. We're in multiverse. You can get a Cletus Cassidy from another universe. Two, they're bonded on a cellular level. So yes, Venom ate Carnage, which I hated, by the way. I didn't really like that. I just feel like they were shooing it in at that point. Venom ate Carnage, and Venom bit off Cletus's head. Well, now you have multiverse, and on a cellular level, Carnage could have been like, I don't know. They can bring Carnage back if they wanted to. I just doubt that they will. It'll be a while before they do. I hated it though. I felt like, you know what I think should have happened instead, the way I would have wrote it. After the battle and Venom wins, right? But he doesn't, when he's holding Cletus, Carnage paves this road of chaos and carnage on his way to the church, right? You're going to have FBI, cops, all of that converging on this church. So by the time their one on one ends and he's holding Cletus by the neck and he's getting ready to bite his head off, that's when you get the helicopter overhead shining the light down on Venom, which basically means, which interrupts him biting off Cletus's head. He has to let Cletus go and he has to run off. Guess what? Well, now Cletus is alive, so that can leave the door open for many other things. I don't know. Not perfect. I'm not a screenwriter, but that's just a little rough draft of something I would have done to keep Cletus alive. Um, and yeah, I hate it. So that's what one. No, Shriek. I hate it. Shriek shouldn't have been in the movie as one. Carnage should have been more Carnage is two. I hated that they killed Cletus and Carnage. That's three. So four, which I mentioned earlier, they talked about how they're not compatible. Correct me if I'm wrong. Carnage and Cletus were the most compatible, and they had the strongest bond out of any symbiote human host. I could be wrong, but in the comics, I feel like Carnage and Cletus were two peas in a pie. Like they were perfect for each other, and they worked well together. But I don't know. It just I didn't like, and that's the other reason I didn't like the fact that they added Shriek into this. She screams, and then Carnage slaps her, and then Cletus gets all, "Don't touch my wife. She knows what she's doing." It's just, I was like, you could have kept that out of the film. Just, I wouldn't have wrote Shriek in this. If okay, better yet, if you're gonna have Shriek and Carnage together, do it in Venom 3 or 4. Introduce Carnage, have him beat Carnage, have them go one on one. Now, whenever you reintroduce, bring Carnage back, then you introduce Streak and say, guess what? And then fill in that flashback gap. You know what I'm saying? Like go back to the events of Venom 2 and be like, Streak should have been a post credit scene. That could have been a second post credit scene on top of the Tom Holland Spider Man post credit scene. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I like this movie, but I would have done things a little bit differently concerning Carnage. Let me know what you guys thought of Venom 2 down in the comments below. Do you agree with me on my points? Did you like the way they portrayed Carnage? Do you think they're going to build up to the true monstrous Venom that we all know and love? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. And I will catch you guys in the next video.